Hi everyone, and good evening. It's great to have you with us. So this Q&A session was set up as a way of providing information for subspecialist radiologists who are curious about short and longer term work overseas in one of our spectacular locations, Japan, Australia, and New Zealand. It's fantastic to see such an international group here, with many of you joining us from across the UK, Spain, and Scandinavia. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I'll quickly run through how the session will work. I'll start with brief introductions, then hand over to our speaker, and after that, we'll open things up for questions and discussion. You can submit questions at any time using the Q&A tab in Teams, and we'll pick those up as we go. Joining us on the call, we have Dr. Per Landahl, who has lived in Japan as a TMC subspecialist radiologist, and our recruitment team, Evelyn, Leanne, Charla, Sanam, and Shamim, who alongside Dr. Fausto and Dr. Per will be helping to answer your questions, particularly around the practical and logistical aspects. So please do make the most of their expertise. Now, I'm really pleased to introduce Dr. Fausto Labruto. Fausto is Director of Emergency Radiology at TMC and a highly respected specialist in the field. He completed his medical training in Italy and went on to earn a PhD in traumatology at the Karolinska Institute in Stockholm, where he later became Associate Professor of Radiology. He's also a member of the Committee for Teleradiology of the European Society of Emergency Radiology. Clinically, his expertise spans all fields of emergency radiology, and importantly, for today's discussion, he currently reports emergency cases for TMC from Australia and from New Zealand. So he brings first-hand experience of both the clinical work and the relocation journey. Fausto, we're really pleased to have you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Katie. Hello, everyone. I'm really delighted to be here tonight. As Katie said in her introduction, I've been with TMC for 14 years, largely working as head of emergency radiology. And that has brought me to the other side of the world, as I am originally from Italy, but I have lived in Australia now for 10 years. It started as what was supposed to be a short visit, and then I liked it so much that I stayed on. I became a permanent resident of Australia and lately even a citizen of Australia. I started my journey in Sydney, where the main office of TMC was and still is. But in 2017, we decided to expand, and I was among those who proposed to open an office in a different location within Australia, and that became our second office in Noosa, Queensland. So if you know Sydney, one of the main cities in Australia, Noosa is a little bit the opposite. It's a small town in a different state, tropical climate, completely different environment. So I moved to Noosa and I spent there now nearly 5 years. Along the way, I met my wife, who happens to be from New Zealand. And so it was natural that when Telemedicine Clinic opened an office in New Zealand, I put my hand up to be one of the first ones to relocate to New Zealand and report from New Zealand. So I've been on and off, back and forth and from New Zealand for the last 4 years. And I can talk to you about New Zealand as well, which is a place for me, a very dear place for me. Last year, TMC hit another milestone, opening an office in Japan. Still in the concept of following the sun and relocating European radiologists to the other side of the world to take advantage of the time difference. Another exciting location. Although I've been instrumental in opening the office in Japan, I've never been to Japan myself. Thus, I'm very happy to see that tonight in the call we have a pioneer radiologist, one of our first radiologists in Japan, Dr. Per Landahl, who is a radiologist and a senior radiologist from Sweden. And Per has been there for a significant amount of time and may answer some questions about Japan. At TMC, we believe that literally the sky is the limit. So there will be more offices around the world, more locations, more opportunity. But tonight, we will rather focus on these three destinations: Australia, New Zealand, Japan. I could talk for a very long time about these three, but I'd just like to see a few words. Most of the global radiologists, European or from other parts of the world who relocate to Australia are impressed by the differences in lifestyle, the kind of environment they move to, and some of them have decided to stay for the long term. We have had several radiologists at TMC under my management who have decided to stay long, and apply for permanent residency, even some who have become residents. Australia is a country that is far away geographically from the rest of the world, but also from a lifestyle point of view. It's very different. I think it suits very well people who like to be in contact with nature. In Australia, we have two locations. As I said earlier, Sydney and Noosa represent a little bit the two opposites of the spectrum. Sydney is a bustling city of 5 million people. It's really like a world. The entire world is in Sydney. People from all ethnicities, all cultures mix in with a beautiful, the backdrop of a beautiful, beautiful city. Sydney has this natural beauty to it. It's also a very modern city, and it's very well connected. It's a gateway to the rest of Australia and the rest of the South Pacific. Noosa represents the opposite because it's very small. It's about 30,000 people. It's located in a different state of Queensland, about 1,000 kilometers away on the coast. Noosa is a town that many haven't heard about, but it definitely punches above its weight. It's a town that can represent has been compared to the Saint-Tropez of Australia. It's fashionable and affluent and small, but has a lot to offer, especially beautiful pristine waters for lovers of surfing and beach life, wildlife being immersed in nature, and also being just a few hours car away from the Great Barrier Reef and other highlights of Australia. I think that Noosa is more suitable for families with children. People who have relocated to Noosa have commented that the schools in Noosa are particularly welcoming to expats. About New Zealand. New Zealand is a country really to discover. People are amazed that although being on the other side of the world, it is reminiscent of the forests and landscapes of Northern Europe. They have their own Alps, mountains where you can ski, a climate that is very pleasant in the summer and becomes cold enough in the winter for having snow and winter sports. It's a big country. It's land, it looks small on the map because it's next to Australia, but it's actually very large. And only 5 million people live in New Zealand, meaning that there is room for everyone. People who relocate to New Zealand comment that the lifestyle, if possible, is even more relaxed than in Australia. A beautiful country that offers a lot in terms of nature, in terms of sports, in terms of the friendliness and welcoming of its population. Probably because it's quite remote. People in New Zealand grew up being very open-minded and very welcoming of strangers. So those who are relocated to New Zealand, I'm a special case because I have family in New Zealand, but those who have relocated to New Zealand have commented that the most beautiful part of the journey was meeting the locals and becoming part of the local community. In New Zealand, our main office is in Auckland, which is not the capital. Capital is Wellington, but it's actually the largest city. It's a bustling city with strong Asian influences and the gateway to the Pacific. So many communities of Pacific islanders live in Auckland. So Auckland is very well connected despite being far away. It's a direct flight from Dubai and from other international airports around the world. And from Auckland, it's possible to island hop in the South Pacific. So the likes of Tonga, Fiji, Cook Islands are no longer a dream destination. They are just a quick flight from New Zealand. In both countries, we have relocated all sorts of radiologists, and I mean all sorts of family circumstances. The single young man or woman, the family with 3 or 4 children, the elderly retired radiologists who like to work after their retirement from an exotic location. Everyone says the same. They're impressed by the destination and they wish to stay longer. I had something that I always say and something that I'll never forget. 2 radiologists who have been with me in Sydney for a year, and they have told me that the year they spent there as expats had been the best year of their life for them and for their families. Young children that learn a new language, learn a new culture, new sports, open up to life. It's beautiful to see. It's really an excellent experience for everyone. I won't tell much about Japan because I haven't been there, but we opened the offices last year in September, and since we have had quite a few radiologists, and they are all very positive about that. So I can't wait to travel there myself and to experience it myself. And luckily we have Per with us tonight, can tell us a little bit about it. So I would like, if Per, if you could just spend just a couple of minutes to say what the highlights were there for you, and who do you think we will recommend this experience to?
Yes, I was one of the first radiologists to go to the Tokyo office in September last year, and I spent around 8-9 months there, and the office is situated in. I'll just correct the lighting a little bit here. The office is situated in the central parts of Tokyo, right in the center, and TMC arranges for an apartment as well, which is very close by, so it's walking distance by 5-10 minutes the way it's arranged at this moment at least. So it's very nice to be able to walk to work in a massive city like Tokyo, because it really is a massive city. I'm not sure if it's official, but I think it's the biggest city in the world if you count like all the neighboring cities. And what I heard, it's 40 million people living there, so it's really like yeah, it's a mind-boggling place to be. And many people might have experience from traveling to Japan. I had before that. I'd been 3 times as a tourist, and was attracted by the possibility to be able to stay there for a longer time. So I did so by the help of TMC, and yeah, it was really a cool experience to immerse yourself in Japan. It's maybe not as easy to do it as in Australia and New Zealand, because the cultural differences is way bigger, and that's also part of the beauty of it, right? So both the language and the nature and like the customs of the people, of the Japanese people, everything is very different, and that's very interesting to explore. So yeah, it's Regarding the visa, it's possible to go there for 6 months with a digital nomad visa. You can extend that possibly by converting it to a tourist visa or the other way around. Staying long term might be a bit more difficult, as I understood it. So it's more of like a temporary experience that many people can take advantage of, as I've understood it. So.
And who would you recommend this experience to?
Yeah, like single people or people in a couple could definitely spend time there. Having kids might be a bit more difficult, getting into kindergarten and stuff. I don't have kids myself. I went on my own, so I don't know the details of that. But maybe there's international schools also. I don't know. But if you can easily move your life for a temporary part of your life, then it's really a good thing to do.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And thank you also for reminding me to spend a few words about the office locations, which I forgot to do. TMC takes pride in having very prestigious office locations. I mean, if you have been at our main office in Barcelona, you know what I mean. There is no better location in Barcelona than the one that Telemedicine has since nearly 20 years. For what concerns Sydney, that is one of the highlights of the experience is to work from our office. And last 3 years, we have relocated to an office in the very heart of Sydney at the 60th floor, 60th. It is a 360-degree view of the city. It's spectacular. The office offers all the perks of a prime location. At Noosa, being a much smaller place, the office is also smaller and it's not on a skyscraper because there are no skyscrapers in Noosa, but it is located so centrally that most radiologists walk to the office. And in Auckland, we have chosen also a prime location, waterfront, views of the harbor, which is considered one of the most beautiful spots in New Zealand, from a newly built skyscraper. I can't remember exact the floor, but the views are breathtaking there as well. Yes, and Per has just commented about Tokyo, so that's just something that I wanted to add about our locations, the locations we are discussing tonight. Okay, then I think that between Per and myself, we have given a broad introduction to the topic of relocating with TMC to Australia, New Zealand, or Japan. I also would like to say that for this meeting tonight, probably the best thing is to hold ourselves on the general comments and general topics without going too much into the weeds, because so that is useful to everyone, right? We have the privilege of having with us our group of recruiters at the TMC. They are very experienced in relocating dozens and dozens of radiologists to these countries, and they will be available to communicate with anyone after the meeting as well, by email or by phone call, whatever. So having said that, I would like to give back the word to Katie to conduct the rest of our chat tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have one question in the Q&A. Please don't be shy. If there's anything that you want to ask, there is no such thing as a silly question or a question that we wouldn't want help you with. So the first question we have is from Ali, and Ali says, how does it work with indemnity taxation if working in Japan? Are the rates per scan uniform regardless of where you're based? Moreover, how many years of experience in subspecialty do you expect? So there's a couple of different questions there. If one of the recruiters wants to put their hand up, or if Fausto, you want to field any of that?
I'd like to answer the latter question about experience in subspecialty radiology. Well, let me just start by saying that emergency radiology is not a subspecialty in all countries. In some it is, in other countries it is not considered a subspecialty. When it comes to our recruitment strategy, we don't set a specific threshold of years of experience. And we have recruited even radiologists who were very young at the moment of recruitment, very early in their career, and without a formal subspecialization in emergency radiology. So that's not a preclusion. However, this gives me the opportunity of informing everyone that the recruitment process at TMC is very serious, and we pride ourselves in having a well-established selection process, which is based on interviews, but also on test cases. We hire only radiologists who are competent to do the job. It doesn't matter if they have been specialists for 1 year or 25 years. The most important thing is they're clever enough to give A, a good impression at the interview, and B, being able to do some test cases, some test work for us to ascertain that their competence is what we are looking for. As for the indemnity, I think someone else can comment about that. If not, I can.
Let's take that. So with regards to indemnity, as well as the other question about rates per scan, there are different packages depending on whether it's Japan, Australia, or New Zealand. So that is something that we will be able to send everyone after the call. We can go through information about the specific rates as well as indemnity and all the benefits that are included.
Is it, thank you very much, Lian. Is it safe to say, Lian, that the concept, generally speaking, is to compensate higher productivities?
Yes, correct. Correct. So yeah, absolutely.
Reward higher productivity.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Ali would like to add the country that you're particularly interested in, Ali, and that might open up sort of more information for this call. But as Lian said, everything that you're looking for specifically, you can reach out directly afterwards. So I have another question here, and this is from Sakina. And Sakina says, what is the eligibility for working as a consultant radiologist? TMC specialist registration or TMC full registration with license to practice working in the NHS for 1 year?
So could you repeat the last part?
Yeah. So Sakina, the last part, she says, or they say GMC specialist registration or GMC full registration with license to practice working in the NHS for 1 year.
Specialist registration is essential for working with TMC.
Sakina, if that answers your question, if you could just give me a thumbs up so that we know, and if we're not quite there, then feel free to post a follow-up question. I have someone on the call here called PJ, and they say, or they ask, how is the access to electronic patient file information to support interpretation?
Thanks. That's a very good question. And, it tells me that PJ has good knowledge and understanding of how emergency radiology works. We think that accessing patient information is essential, but we talk mainly in terms of radiological information. Therefore, any scan that is sent to us for interpretation comes with all the available prior scans and all the available prior reports. We don't have direct access to blood tests, patient journals, operation journal, and so on. However, we do request our clients to send us extensive information at the moment of referring the patient to us. And if there is anything unclear, we always ask our operations to put us in contact with the requesting physician so that we can ask whatever question is needed to have a better clinical picture.
Okay.
I hope that answered the question.
Again, PJ, if you feel that that requires a follow-up question, please do submit that in the Q&A button. I see that for the moment there are no more questions, so I would like to ask Per or Fausto to speak for a couple of minutes on the reporting platform Optimis, so that the people who have joined the call can get an idea of what it's like using the TMC in-house built software and RIS.
Right. Thank you very much, Katie. This is a question that I get asked a lot. What is your RIS like? And I've been to TMC long enough to see the birth of this RIS. This is a RIS that is proprietary to TMC. It was built by our development team back in 2013. And it has been a very successful product. It's been with us now for 13 years, so it has been has gone through many cycles of improvement. And it has been so successful that it has been sold outside of TMC as a RIS to institutions. It is a RIS that is particularly suitable to teleradiology. For example, because it doesn't have booking functions, which are typical of a RIS in a hospital. On the other hand, it is geared to our philosophy of working because, for example, it has an inbuilt system for second reading and quality control. It's called Optimis. It is it has an integrated, so that the plugins that come with Optimis are voice recognition and several modules of artificial intelligence. We'll talk about artificial intelligence later if anyone is interested. It is fully integrated with our PACS system, which is Sectra, and it has a wide array of search systems. It is also suitable for remuneration calculations. It comes with its own library of interesting cases, and there are many other features that it would take too long to list. But in short, Optimis is the name of our RIS. It is proprietary, it is our own, and it has been improved consistently for 13 years by the requests of emergency radiologists. So it has become a very sharp tool that suits us and our workflows perfectly.
Thank you, Fausto. We have another question that's come in from Sakina, and they've asked which subspecialties are in demand in Australia and New Zealand.
Yes, the answer is simple. It is emergency radiologists. The reason why we have started working from Australia and then later from New Zealand and Japan is because a lot of what TMC does is emergency radiology for Europe, for European clients, and that is best done under the model that we like to call follow the sun, because our radiologists in Australia, New Zealand, and Japan work at daytime when serving European hospitals at night time. So that's the concept. Therefore, in Australia, New Zealand, and Japan, we are looking for emergency radiologists. Now, if the question is which subspecialties within emergency radiologists are requested, I can say that we like to have neuro-competent emergency radiologists because nearly 50% of what we do is neuroradiology. We would like to have emergency radiologists who are conversed in pediatric radiology. because that in pediatric emergencies, because we are growing a lot in that field. Otherwise, we are looking for emergency radiologists who are able to handle any form of emergency, from neonate to elderly patients, from trauma to abdominal, postoperative, neuro, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. The methods we work with are largely CT. About 90% of what we do is CT. We do also interpret CRs only for our Scandinavian clients. And we do interpret MRs, but only for specific emergency queries. That means coda equina spines and stroke MRI only for the country of Denmark. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Fausto. We have a follow-up question from Sakina, and they've asked, and forgive me if this is not how you say it, there's an acronym, FRAN-CR?
Yes.
Is that, yeah? Is FRAN-CR required for
No.
TMC work in Australia and New Zealand, or is FR-CR good enough?
Absolutely. No, thanks for the question, because it helps me to clarify. So FRAN-CR is the license to practice radiology in Australia and New Zealand. That is not needed, because the radiologists who work for TMC in Australia and New Zealand work for European clients, be they in the United Kingdom or other countries in Europe. But I suppose the question is asking if fellowship of Royal College of Radiology is enough. Yes, it is, because we do not work for Australian and New Zealand clients.
Right. There has been another question coming from PJ, and they've asked, who assigns the scan protocol, the radiologist or the requesting doctor in the UK?
Yeah, that's another great question that goes into the workflows, and I like to answer it because it gives me the opportunity of describing how we set up a shift. On a normal shift, for example, for the UK market, there may be as many as 15 radiologists working at the same time on a list of emergency cases. Now, PJ asks, who is vetting the cases? It is one of us. It is one or two of us, I should say, because we always set 2 of our radiologists for 1 hour each shift to vet scans. Why do we do that? Because we think that those who vet scans or triage scans or choose the protocol, they are radiologists who should only do that. So for 1 hour, they are not reporting cases, but they are vetting cases. And then they go back to doing the reporting activity. This is important because answering a phone call, vetting a case in between reporting could be a little bit confusing or could create a little bit of distraction. So we like to say that for 1 hour, such and such will work on vetting protocols. We choose our protocols. If there is anything unclear, we talk with the referring clinician and we clarify what is exactly being requested. But in most of the cases, everything happens very swiftly. So the radiologist in charge for vetting and triaging can do that very quickly and very simply. I'd like also to mention that we have, for Scandinavian clients, we have artificial intelligence solution, which supports emergency vetting. So the artificial intelligence solution tool reads the request and pre-chooses the right protocol. And we just have to click on the button to accept it, which makes everything much quicker and much more effective. Vetting protocols is part of indemnity. So just as much as you earn for cases reported, you also earn for cases protocoled or vetted.
Thank you. I imagine the last part of your answer there would have been the follow-up question from somebody, so that's great. Yeah. We have another question here from Sakina, and they've asked, how long is the shift at TMC? part-time or full-time, and how many hours in a week?
We're looking for full-time radiologists. The main reason behind that is not because we need to force people to work full-time, but because a lot of our relocation process hinges on visas that are only granted to people working full-time. So that's the main reason. And then for the amount of hours, I think that our recruiters can comment on that, because there's actually different solutions. So if any one of you wants to.
I can see
comment.
Evelyn nodding.
Yes, there are some differences if you report for our UK hospitals or if you report for our Swedish hospitals. But we would like to rather also take that question probably offline. If you get in contact with our either Scandinavian recruiters, Shamim and Sanam, or with our UK recruiters, Shala and Lian, happily after our call, we explain you a bit more how that looks like. Yeah, but it's, as Fausto says, it's full-time positions.
Yeah. Thank you, Evelyn. And just I'm going to ask another one of my own questions, because there aren't any currently for us to pick up. But I do want to say that while Fausto speaks on this next topic, that I will put the email addresses of the recruitment team into the chat section of this call. And if you have any questions, or you can't navigate your way to the chat, or you rather do it differently, when you registered for this Q&A session, you would have had, I think, my email address, which I'll also put in there, or you can reply to some of the previous emails. But I did want Fausto to, he promised that he would speak a little bit on AI, which AI tools TMC use. It's a very hot topic. I'm sure if no one's asked about it, then it's not because they're not interested, it's just because it hasn't come up. So let's speak on that for a little while.
Yeah, thank you very much, Katie. It is a hot topic, and it seems like everyone wants to hear more about it. So here I am. We are proud at TMC to call ourselves early adopters of artificial intelligence in the interpretation of especially emergency radiology cases. We have over 6 years experience in artificial intelligence tools, which we have refined and developed in collaboration with some of the biggest names in artificial intelligence around the world. Let me tell you, if you take a step back, that artificial intelligence providers, the likes of IDOC, Annalise, Harrison, and others, they love working with big teleradiology companies such as TMC, because we have such large volumes that it becomes an interesting joint venture for both. Having said that, in the last few years, we have accumulated experience, and we have selected the tools that worked best for us. And let me tell you also that because I have an intimate knowledge of the market and other teleradiology providers, including those who are larger than TMC, have less artificial intelligence tools available to them than we do. I think we are at the top in terms of artificial intelligence usage within the teleradiology market globally. Every day, when we interpret emergency cases, we have consistently the help of several modules. Off the top of my head, I can cite modules that help us in interpreting all emergency pathologies in CT head, pulmonary embolism, large vessel occlusions in CT angiographies, aneurysms as incidental finding in CT angiography. And we have experimented with cervical spine fractures, with free air in the abdomen. We have chest X-ray interpretation, and fracture interpretation, and a few more that I can't quickly list. We have collaborated with, we have a very long collaboration with IDOC and with Harrison AI, which are two of the most important names in emergency radiology AI. We are evaluating several modules which are ready for deployment. We have done serious research on them. I happen to be also the research lead at TMC. If you look up my name, you'll see that we have recently published articles in international journals about quality control of AI. It's called monitoring AI for a better long-term use of AI. I am coming out with a review on artificial intelligence in emergency radiology for the Indian Journal of Radiology next month. You can look that up in a couple of weeks, and that's an important review article for an important journal. We have collaborations for the use of artificial intelligence in vetting referrals, as I said earlier. We have the support of an entire team of people dedicated to artificial intelligence at Unilabs. It's called the Unilabs Artificial Intelligence Excellency team, and they are a mix of radiologists and non-radiologists who are constantly doing research and development of the tools available to us and selecting new ones. So there's a lot going on, and we are at the forefront of it. We've been on the cutting edge of artificial intelligence in radiology for years and years. You see that in day-to-day practice. When you open a scan in our environment, more often than not, you have an artificial intelligence supporting your decision. More often than not, because we have it for all CT head, for all CT chest, for all chest X-ray, and so forth. So yes, artificial intelligence and TMC are two words that go together, and we are ahead of the game, and we will be, because we are working hard on cutting edge technologies.
Thank you, Fausto. Fausto, we also have some TMC reporting radiologists and clinical leads whose specific role is to lead in the field of AI. And the AI Centre for Excellence is coming up for its 10-year birthday. We're just trying to figure out exactly when that is, because we would like to have a party, but it has been established for many years. And as Fausto said, there are data scientists in that team and radiologists and non-clinical people, developers, software developers, all working together to improve patient outcomes ultimately. So I have popped in the email addresses of each of the recruitment team here in it's actually in the Q&A section as a note. The top two individuals, Sanam and Shamim, they speak Danish and Swedish, if I'm not mistaken, fluently. So if you...
Only Swedish.
Swedish, yeah.
Swedish.
And English, of course. Yeah.
So they would be the people to speak to if you speak Swedish, and then Evelyn, Charla, and Leanne, if you prefer an English-speaking recruiter, then those are the people that you can reach out to. So unless there are any more questions, I think we could wrap things up there. I think it's been a very successful session with some questions coming in from different angles, and as we've said, if there's anything that wasn't answered or you'd like to go into more detail, then please do reach out to one of our recruitment team. Thank you very, very much, Fausto, for your time, and for Per. No one had any specific questions on Japan, but if you did want to jump in quickly now, while I'm just wrapping things up, feel free to do that. Otherwise, thank you Thank you very much for joining, and to the recruitment team for being here to answer the non-clinical questions and the logistical questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank
Lovely speaking to
you.
you.
No
Thank
one
you.
jumped on.
Thank you.
I'll send the recording out by email to all of you after this for your reference. And again, any questions, just let us know.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.